I was like, wait, so Terry is trying to sell this bullshit that I tried to sleep with her in the 2 to 3 week window that we were engaged? That's just silly. I think Jenni had the same response, like, oh, really? Wow. Wait a minute. 2 weeks, bitch. It was 2 weeks. Hey, where were you even living back then, bitch?
That's what she said. And this is how she talks to Terry like a child. Like,
yeah.
Well, Terry, honey. Trash talk. Welcome back to Trash Talk.
Thanks for bringing us in, Kayla. We've got a quick impromptu episode of Trash Talk that Kayla and I have been itching to record for over a week now.
This one's a doozy, folks.
It's August 22nd. We played some AC/DC last night with the fam. I see you're wearing the same disgusting shirt as you were last night. You haven't changed, you pig.
Okay, great. Like, you just fucking take off your shirt like 5 minutes ago and put on a new shirt. Like,
yeah, I know, because I was going to be on TV.
Fucking stupid.
Because we're trying to get famous. Yeah.
Fuck you.
We're going to be famous for wearing our old shirts with pasta stains on
Nobody's
them.
going to watch any of these videos because nobody cares about you.
But after they buy into our characters and banter, they're going to be like, I want to see everything they've done.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is going to be the breakout episode for sure. Let's just get to the gist of it, okay? We came here to talk shit about people. I think
that's
everybody
what trash
knows.
Talk is. Trash Talk, we're going to talk shit about people.
Okay, yeah.
And if you'd like to be on the trash list to get shit talked about us, feel free to like, subscribe, and comment below.
And today, ladies and germs, we came here to trash talk my best friend's sister, Tairy.
Let's get a little bit of background on Tairy.
Me and Jenni are the same age. She's a few years younger than us. Like, I've known Jenni since middle school. We've been friends since high school, and like, we started hanging out a lot in high school. So I started spending a lot of time with her and her family, and like anytime like Tairy would be around, it's just like I would notice how she would talk to her, almost like she was stupid. And at the time, it's like I didn't really recognize, how stupid she was, and she was always stupid. Like, it was very warranted how Jenni would like speak to her. She's the girl who would make like weird comments or just
because she wants to be funny or smart or
just
awkward
relevant comments. Yeah,
but she doesn't have anything of substance to add to the
she
conversation.
She doesn't know how to be sociable. Like, yeah. I think one time you had like a birthday party, so she just randomly came up to me and like, birthday sex? Birthday sex?
This is obviously after like we've been together.
Yeah, we were together. We were dating officially. I was your girlfriend. Everybody knew that. And so what I guess she was asking, and this is like in front of my brother too, who's like sitting right next to me. Mm-hmm. And I guess she was asking me like, oh, did you give Mike or are you giving Mike birthday sex? And I don't know. It's just like, but it's just awkward, like that. But that
was like how she said hello that day.
Yeah.
Right.
Tairy
and I, before Kayla and I were together, Tairy and I went out on a total of 1.5 dates, I think. And then it wasn't going to work out. I thought Tairy was really cool because she was like, oh, I love South Park, and South Park's been a show that I've loved my entire life. And I'm like, okay, yeah. You want to go watch South Park at my place? I just cleaned up. She's like, let's watch the episode with the lice. And she kept quoting the lice episode. And she thought just the way that they said my baby in that episode was funny. And I'm like, but that episode was absolute trash. I suggest an episode. She's like, no, I don't like that one. Let's watch the one where the retards go to camp and they kept saying, hello, Mimsy. And I'm like, that's another one of the worst South Park episodes I've ever heard of.
That's definitely the worst.
When things didn't work out, I was like, that's probably for the best, because like that would have eaten me alive. Because like you and I work because we like South Park a lot, and we hate the bad South Park episodes, but it's fine. Like, but if you were like, dude, I want to watch the Hello Mimsy episode over and over, I would leave you. I would drop you off at your mom's for good. To summarize, Tairy and I went on a date and a half. Maybe rounding up 2 dates. That's the worst
character, too. Like, just that character, the Mimsy character.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that guy.
That was our brief dating period circa 2011, if I had to guess. I was in the house, and we weren't together yet. Then, in 2012, you and I started dating, and then we got married in 2012 because I found out that if we get married at any point in a year, the taxes change. And like we'd get a bigger tax refund married. And also I was in love with you and I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you.
Yeah, sure. Did we want to start with like how with like the conversation that she had with Jenni like the other day? Or where are we?
No, I want to give background before going into that.
Okay.
Because our audience doesn't know any of this and we do.
Okay.
All right, let me continue because I wanted to get married because I was in love with you and wanted to spend the rest of my life with you. And also the taxes thing, which is what I used to, buy my first bunch of Bitcoins.
Such a wonderful woman.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm a catch.
You are a catch.
Come on, look at this.
Yeah. It looked great last night at AC/DC too. So, I think I came home one day in December or late November and I said, Kayla, if we get married, I get a bunch of tax money and also I love you. Want to get married? You can move in. And you're kind of like, okay, I guess.
I never wanted ever to get married.
Yeah, that was something we talked about while we were dating, that we didn't want to get married ever.
I'm not a person that grew up like wishing to get married at all. Maybe because my parents got divorced. I don't know. We'll save that for another episode.
Yeah, but if it's a little scheme to get some more cheddar out of Uncle Sam, we're both on board.
Should we have this on camera? Are we editing this out?
Statutes of limitations, baby. We're good. We're good. Kayla and I decided to get married on December 12th, 2012. This is sometime in November of 2012, late November, but it was approximately 2 to 3 weeks from when I popped the question to when we went to the courthouse with Jenni and her mom
quick.
And Erica
as
our witnesses.
We got married on December 12th, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was great because
like
the only other couple there that was getting married that day were like in a full like tuxedo and wedding dress and had a bunch of their family there, and I'm in my like skin tight XXL red, white, and blue American flag tuxedo
I had,
t-shirt.
Like a sweater on.
Kayla had a really nice sweater on. And they came over and looked at us, and they were like, well, they came over. They were genuinely happy for us, and they were like, well, we wish you the best. And we're like, okay.
Okay, that's enough about our stupid wedding.
Okay, but the point was there was about 2 to 3 weeks between from when we were engaged to when we got married back in 2012.
It's important. Remember that, people.
It's foreshadowing.
Yes.
Tairy fancies herself a scientist because she's taken Biology 101 about 4 times, and I think she's failed it about 4 times. Now, she is not a scientist because scientists have degrees. She does get a lot of jobs in labs doing sweeping stuff, I would imagine. I don't know. But she fancies herself a scientist. She calls herself a scientist. She says that she claims that she does research. She thinks that she's smart. And I think that she's not. It's been a long time of her delusions of being a scientist and talking to people about diseases and, I'm a scientist. Oh, COVID this. Oh, this. I'm a scientist, whatever.
A scientist who's also an anti-vaxxer, kind of, sort of, on the fence of it.
Everything about it is very, very comical and cringy. Yeah. Think Michael Scott from The Office. Like, nobody buys it. Everyone's just like, oh, okay, Tairy, yeah, you're a good scientist. Yeah, you stirred up the blue liquid and the yellow liquid and you made a green liquid. You're so smart. Mm-hmm. Tairy has long since blocked me on Facebook. I don't know why.
Was it because of Jennifer Lawrence, what you said about Jennifer Lawrence?
Oh, it might have been.
Or was that somebody else?
You know what? Look, I say a lot of things at Facebook, and the game I play is if I can get somebody to block me, that's good. That's a point for Mike. Like, I essentially want everyone to block me so I have no reason to use Facebook. I won with Tairy twice, I think, because I made the second Facebook account when my other one got banned for no reason at all. Politics, And so sometime last year, I don't know if she made a COVID comment or whatever, but
it's probably about vaccines.
I think it was about vaccines. And I don't remember what I said, but I went on to Kayla, I went onto your Facebook page, and you were there. And I wrote a really, really awful, horrible thing that was super bullyish. I was just like, oh, that's right. You and I are both qualified scientists, right? You and I have the same qualifications. That's right. Go ahead.
Yeah. I thought that I wrote that, though. I thought that I wrote that myself, and And then that was the excuse that we made up.
You know what? I think you wrote it, and then I was like, hold on, let me add some heat on this. And that's where I was like, well, you and I are both scientists, right? And it was very sarcastic, but also like, fuck you, you stupid bitch.
Yeah, we basically called her out for not being a real scientist.
Yes. I think she messaged Jenni and was really pissed off. And then as a response, Kayla tries... I told Kayla, I'm like, hey, just tell Terry, just message and be like, hey, Mike's such a piece of shit. He had my phone. He was looking through it again. And he saw your post, and he was just being an asshole. I'm sorry. He's not gonna. I put a code on my phone, whatever, and then she totally bought it. She totally bought it.
Yeah.
I don't know what else was said in that conversation a year ago on Messenger. Do you remember anything else about that dialogue?
Oh, I don't know. It was basically just that. I can't really remember. And to be clear, like, it's not because we really want to be friends with her. It's just because, like, we want to know, like, what's going on in this person's life.
Yeah, and then occasionally I want to have the ability to drop like a fuck you video or a fuck you comment once or twice more.
And I feel like people are going to want to take Terry's side and think that we're the assholes and stuff. And
they can, that's fine.
Well, no, I just want to make it clear, like, how awful a person that this woman is. Like I said, I believe, allegedly, she may be possibly defrauding her employers, but not only that, this is a woman who who will look for any excuse to like take time off from her job, and to the point where she makes up that she has an allergy. She's never had allergies before, and allergies is something you could develop as you grow older, but like to the point where you have a like serious allergic reaction to needing an EpiPen. I don't know. I've never had allergies. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm starting to develop like some kind of like sinus shit every now and then. But that's basically it.
But she goes through EpiPens like we go through a 12-pack of Coke on a hot summer day.
She, like, when she wants to get out of work, and this is our opinion, when she wants to get out of work, she will make believe in her head, convince herself in her head that she has an allergic reaction and needs an EpiPen. She stabbed herself with an EpiPen and was taken to the hospital. And then that results in extended time off from her work.
I think usually when she calls in sick, they're probably like, okay, the same amount of work will get done whether you're here or not.
And this is a person who like jumps from job to job. She always finds excuses to leave jobs, always claims that she's being like sexually harassed or something, and like that's why she's leaving this job to go to another lab. This is a truly awful person. Like, her trip to Europe, her business trip to Europe, she starts a hijab business selling scarves, and she convinces herself that she can go to Europe and claim it's a business trip because she buys fabric for her hijab business.
But like, I don't think she understood how businesses work. You still have to have income and then spend it. Like, okay,
whatever.
Do you think she got like a PayPal business credit account?
No, she probably didn't do any of that.
So she just paid for everything on her credit card and was like, it's a business expense.
Yeah, she just maxed out all her credit cards, and she just goes to Europe. And this is after she's like lost her lab job. She's gotten divorced at this point, I think. It was like a Travelocity like package thing, something, I don't know. But either way, she just randomly goes to Europe one year. She touches down in England, and she just is having a good time, whatever. Has no money. Like, she used all her money just to get there, to get the tickets for place to stay, I guess. I don't even know. So she probably just like, and she was like a good looking, what people would refer to as a good looking lady. She was
I would say back then she was in pretty good shape.
She was pretty skinny and had huge tits. So
if she had to go walk around the airport and flirt with a guy to get a free meal, I'm sure she had no problem doing that. Or a place
to stay. Yeah, but in the middle of this, she realizes her flight to get home to America, she has to be in France. She's still in England. She did not check her travel plans at all before getting there, I guess.
Right.
So she didn't have a flight from England to France, sorry. So she calls her sister in a panic, like, oh, I need you to buy me a ticket and all this stuff. Thanks to her sister, she like has a great Europe trip.
Yeah, and was able to get home. You know what, though? If Jenni just didn't answer the phone, she would have flirted with some guy for a long enough time to get him. Like, I really need to get back home, but I do love
somebody
you.
would have
Can I
paid for
get
her
that
to
credit card number? There's a ton of these stories.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
what we wanted to have Trash talk about today was regarding the window of time when Kayla and I were engaged for about 3 weeks. And then also the conversation that Kayla and Tairy had when we talked shit to her on Facebook. Break down what happened, a week ago?
Jenni calls me and tells me that she had a crazy conversation with Tairy, and this happens frequently, but I don't know why you're still friends with people, Jenni.
This is Tairy.
This is Tairy talking to Jenni. Yeah, her sister Jenni. I don't know why you're still friends with some people. And Jenni's like, who? And she says, Mike and Kayla.
Mm-hmm.
That's us, people. And
that's us. And to be fair, that is a reasonable question for anyone to ask that is friends with us. Why are you friends with them? They are huge pieces of shit. And the answer is because they're so charismatic and charming.
We're also charming, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jenni says why. Terry's like, well, they just have such a weird relationship. I mean, people who get on people's Facebook and talk on their Facebook, like, I just think that's weird. That's so strange.
Uh-huh.
She's talking about our relationship.
But she thinks it's okay to do the voice of her cat in a Russian accent. She thinks that's not weird, right?
And then she goes on to say, well, when that didn't work on Jenni, she goes on.
She continues telling Jenni.
She goes on with her. She starts to go into her lies that she's already made up in her, convinced her head are reality. And she's like, well, I told Kayla that Mike tried to sleep with me when they were engaged, and Kayla didn't believe me.
Yeah. So just pause right there. I was working on a video in the other room, and I have my headphones on, and I've told Kayla, I'm like, if you come into the room and you're standing behind me because I can't see, don't just sit there and talk to me because I can't hear a damn thing, and every now and then I'll hear like a and then I'll have to take off my headphones and be like, what the fuck are you, what are you talking, like, while I'm working on this project with my headphones on in the other room, so it's across the hall is the bedroom where Kayla's usually at, and I hear
I literally, like,
Kayla
giggled,
squealed.
like, yeah.
It was like, oh my
Seriously,
God.
I was tickled.
And Kayla could not wait to come and tell me, and then I made a similar noise. So go ahead.
It was delicious.
So Tairy tells Jenni, I don't know why you're still friends with them. I told Kayla that Mike tried to sleep with me while they were engaged, and then Jenni says what?
She was going through mixed emotions because at first she was like, well, maybe this is, because she was telling me like, well, maybe this is true. We all have our secrets. And then she talked herself out of it because she was like, wait a minute, they were only engaged for 2 weeks. How could that possibly?
That's the first thing I said. I was like, wait, so Tairy is trying to sell this bullshit that I tried to sleep with her in the 2 to 3 week window that we were engaged? That's just silly. I think Jenni had the same response, like, oh, really? Wow. Wait a minute. 2 weeks, bitch. It was 2 weeks. Hey, where were you even living back then, bitch?
That's what she said. Like, you know, and this is how she talks to Tairy like a child. Like,
yeah.
Well, Tairy, honey, they were only engaged for 2 weeks, and maybe you're just like confusing Kayla with somebody else. Or
with one of your other man friends. They probably all blend together after like 60, 70 guys.
Just some other fiance that she definitely didn't sleep with. Okay. And then this is another reason why we know it's not true, people. Okay, because this conversation.
I have not denied it. All right.
Are you going to officially deny it here right on the show right now? Come on, Mike.
I might. I'll think about it.
You better deny it, son of a bitch.
All right, continue with the story.
Don't make me look like a fool. This conversation where she tells me that Mike tried to sleep with her. Like, I have no memory of it whatsoever.
And it was on Facebook Messenger, too.
I
Because
guess.
you chatted with her
I mean,
on
that's
Messenger.
the only way that I would ever talk to her. I don't have her number. She doesn't have mine.
Well, I remember when that all went down, when we were bullying her on Facebook. It was on Messenger.
That was it. And then the only other time that I talked to her is when she contacted me on Messenger after the whole George Floyd protest things over the summer of 2020, and she had to check in with every black person who's not a male that she fucked, I guess.
Well, she probably checked in with them too, but in a different way.
But either way, it's like, oh, you're the only other black person that I know. Like, hey, are you okay? That message you got from your white friend. Are you okay? How is everything?
I'm listening. I'm here if you need anything that's gluten free.
I see you.
Mm-hmm.
I hear.
I'm not part of this. But yeah.
So yeah, we just had to have that conversation, and it didn't come up then. So yeah, she's a lying bitch.
Yeah.
She tried to randomly ruin a marriage and friendships.
What I took away from that is that many times I don't get to reap the rewards of what I sow. For example, I said earlier that I try and get people to block me on Facebook. It's very hard to get a satisfying reaction from somebody that makes it worthwhile for me to spend 45 minutes carefully typing out or making even a longer fuck you video that really puts somebody in their place.
Yeah.
And establishes me as the alpha in the relationship. I've done it to many people, and most of the time it's an instant block, and then I never see anything from them again.
Yeah.
And that's fine. What's better than sex for me is when I find out from another person that they're like, oh, they were talking about you for so long. You pissed them off so much, and I've gotten several secondhand replies like this. Or just hear from a friend of a friend that oh yeah, when you did that, oh my God.
Yeah.
And this has to be one of the best, one of my best ones, because this was about a year ago, at least.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. It's like, and when Jenni and Tairy have conversations, Jenni is always saying how it's one-sided. So Jenni never talks about us or anything or brings us up. It's like,
or if she did, Tairy's just waiting for her turn to keep talking about whatever she's
Terry's not
interested
listening.
in.
So Tairy we have had a space in Terry's mind for at least a year.
What was she hoping to come out of this?
Yeah, I don't know, because she knows Jenni would tell me.
Of course.
Yeah.
That was very intentional to get. She wanted Jenni. She wanted to tell you, but
she had to have.
It was just such a poor execution.
That's why I'm she tried to ruin a friendship and a marriage there, because she doesn't know what kind of girl I am, and maybe I would be the kind of person who would be who wouldn't be tickled pink by all this, and who would be oh my God, my husband tried to cheat on me.
Or
you
now
fucking bastard.
Now it's just a ton of suspicion. Maybe there were some other things, maybe Mike's not going out and playing cards.
But anyway, that's what you want me to think.
That is, yeah.
Anyway.
I still haven't technically denied anything. But yeah, I do love that I got such a slam dunk, satisfactory reaction from her, that because I haven't thought about that since. I couldn't even possibly remember what we said. Usually I screenshot that stuff and then I read it later and I'm like, oh yeah, that was harsh. This apparently has been burned into her mind this whole time.
Yeah. Oh
and
my gosh. Because she knows, somewhere in there, she knows she's a fraud.
She does know she's a fraud. And that was the key point. We said, you are not a scientist. Yeah. You're a fraud. You failed biology 4 times. You keep jumping from school to school. You're overwhelmingly in student loan debt. Nobody respects you. You can't even spell.
Speaking of failed biology 4 times, remember the paper where she got a 38 and then she went and was she went on Facebook and put this out there. I need to talk to my teacher. How dare she give me a 38? I should have gotten 100. 100.
And why? Do you remember why the teacher said she didn't get a good grade?
She needed to cite her sources.
And what did Tairy say when she's like, you need to cite your sources?
I'm my own source, teacher.
I am a scientist. I work in a lab. I do my own research.
Yeah.
and I use it. I can cite myself. And the teacher's like, a lot of people say research, and what they mean is study. Doing research is literally like doing an experiment and publishing data in like a research paper.
And having other people read it.
But like to a lot of people, myself included, I've said this, and it just to a lot of people, it's like I've done my own research, and that just means I Googled some things and I read some articles, and that there's nothing even wrong with that. But like, use the term I've studied the topic, not I've done my own research.
Right,
research is different. But for her, she's like, I do my own research, and I think she was like, well, have you published a paper on this? And I think Terry was even like, oh, I'll just have to publish a paper to prove her wrong. Well, okay, Dr. Terry, Scientist Terry.
God.
It's not easy to publish a paper when you can't even pass Biology 101. But yeah, that was her mindset. Yeah. It's like, I do my own. I should have gotten 100 because my research is flawless. So yeah, that was the whole dialogue we wanted to share on this episode of Trash Talk. Was this piece of trash got what she deserved, and we've been burrowing in her brain for over a year because we called her out on her delusional shit. And that made me so happy. I just needed to record these thoughts.